Hi everyone and anyone who will come across this video. And thank you to come to Sirian Star Oracle in the Age of Aquarius. Tonight is Thursday night. I believe it is the 23rd, and it's just after 7:30. So I had posted on TikTok. Facebook won't let me get through a lot just because they suspended me to 27 days due to content that they said violated their community standards, which I guess I could try and contest. However, at this point, it really was about they did not care for a certain choice words that I use, which were around current events, people's names, activities, and history of particular possibilities. These possibilities are not mentioned on regular television, mainstream media news. They're often on bitchute.com, rumble.com. Um, they might get away with some of it sometimes on Facebook. Usually the truthers or anyone who's reporting on kind of what's going on in the world from this broader perspective as intuitive, psychic, in the know, they sometimes got shut down. And I used to be very resistant to always listening to them. And maybe resistant isn't the right word, but if you keep saying, oh, they're going to shut us down, we have to talk in code, I mean, you just kind of attract that. And maybe that was an appealing way to market their sites. I don't know, maybe subconsciously in the ego it could have been. But tonight, welcome to Wisdom Tea and Oracle Insights. My tea tonight is going to be my kombucha, which I haven't been able to drink for several weeks. And I discovered I could drink it again. My body was liking it all right. So I'm kind of like in the last, this is probably the third day, I'm really storing up and drinking several kombuchas, which is called Sacred Life, and it is my favorite. But I'm doing that instead of the tea just so I could hop on here as quick as possible. I don't know how long I'm going to be, but I want to go over a couple of topics which I covered. Well, I felt it was just a spontaneous, wonderful, you know, program that I did, but it got erased from Twitter and Facebook and so on, wherever else it could have gotten, and YouTube. But I have rectified some things where I could flash you paper with the name on it and hold it up when I can't say some things. So this one, because it's so impromptu, more so than the other one, and probably not wanting this to go on forever, never, may not be as long, but we'll cover a little bit about pendulum and how I use a pendulum. We'll cover a little bit about automatic writing and how I do automatic writing and how I know of automatic writing. I didn't go and make a long historical notes. I'll just bring up things I know and why it interests me and why I do it and why right now these things are working for me. And then I think I do want to pull a couple of cards on these current events. And I also have something to back that up, which I did see on TikTok. That's true. It's on TikTok. But I just haven't gone and looked at any of the places on BitChute or Rumble of people I used to follow who have gazillion, millions and millions and millions of people and who are very well connected in the know. And I think also last time on this channel, I mentioned someone who, I'm going to just write this part down. So he's an exceptional martial artist and he trains, I'm just going to write the word. So we'll get, so he trains folks. And can you see that word? Right? These guys who are fighters. But he's been a martial artist since he was 8 years old, traveled around the world, studied in Japan, been in competitions all over the world. He's third, fourth, he's several black belts. And so this comes from, like, I have him as one of my personal sources about when things are being handled secretly around the world. So it's not just a psychic or intuit thing or looking at someone else's site. And sometimes I do, and I'm going to give them credit as well. So tonight I want to show my pendulum again, which I love my pendulum. And this particular tree of life, so I'm going to see if I can see that. This particular tree of life with the crystal and the copper comes from the same shop or merchant that this tree of life comes from. And what I had initially wanted to do with these was make wind chimes. They would go at the bottom, and maybe there'd be bells and whatever else I'm going to do with the wind chimes. I'm still aimed at creating all of that, indoor, outdoor wind chimes, because I think that would be fun and just a part of the art stuff I would like to showcase and do. However, I'd like to get more of these, and I've just got to go through my stash of business cards and recollect who was that place. And I think by looking at the business cards and with the friend who I was with, maybe we can come up with the place. And I can just call them too when I narrow it down and say, are you the place that has something like this? And I think for the most part, I'll receive an answer. And I can even pendulum the answer. So I took this is not real leather. This is just a kind of string or ride string, and there was another item on this at one time that I used to wear. But you can take a longer chain, a silver chain, a real silver, real gold, or just a string of your choice, something that appeals to you. And right now this appeals to me at the moment. And I made this my pendulum. And when you ask the pendulum questions, for example, you want to be pretty short, concise, have it be as much yes, no as possible, because those are the two directions that you really clearly want to see or will see your answer for the most part. And sometimes, as the pendulum seems to be funky or perhaps may go in a circle or is stand still and will not swing a particular way, well, you have to fine tune your question. So I wanted to do show you how my pendulum works, and I'll do a yes and no question, and you'll be able to see which way it goes. You'll also be able to see my hand, that I'm not moving my hand, that this is an extension of energy, which is felt and translatable in the field around me, and the pendulum being my friend, and kind of like a, what do you call those things that finds water, that divination device that, farmers sometimes use in big fields to find water so they could start digging. So when their cattle, sheep, or whatever were crossing fields or on the way to, they knew that there would be a water source. And not only that, but a water source for a farm that they were developing. They could irrigate and not only their own wells for the animals, but the wells for their house water and stuff. So anyway, let me take a sip because I really need to quench my thirst. Thank you. And let's move on a little bit with the pendulum. For me, I'm going to ask a yes question. I'm going to try to leave my hand exactly where you see it and say, so my real name is Ritza Elizabeth, and I'm also known in the skies as Commander Azzirah Atahir. In the skies as Commander Azzirah Atahir, Arcturian Armada, large Armada fleet. And I'm Ritza Elizabeth, and that appears on my driver's license. So Ritza Elizabeth appears on my driver's license, and I have a relationship with the High Arcturian Commander Azzirah Atahir. I'm in charge of a large fleet, large armada in the skies. Okay. So you could see the pendulum. That was, even if my hand just shakes a little bit, it's not, this is me like making it do that, but my hand was stationary. Now let me ask a question that will obviously be swing a different way. Oh, well, I'm going to purchase at least 2 dachshunds in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm going to purchase at least 2 dachshund dogs in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I will purchase probably a chocolate dachshund and a black dachshund in 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. 2 dachshund dogs. 2 dachshund dogs in the next 2 weeks. Yeah. Just like I'll go somewhere and I'll buy them very high priced dachshund dogs. Okay. So you can see that was a no. So you might say that I have forward and back is yes, and side to side is a no. For all intent purposes, helping you understand pendulum. Now, pendulum, I happen to like the crystal, and I'm glad I have a crystal pendulum. Certainly can go into metaphysical stores. I'm going to give a shout out to a local place called Taproot Treasures on West Boylston Street in Worcester, and there you'll find a variety of actual pendulums, and they are different stones and or crystals. And then you also will see a variety of necklaces there, which your necklace, if it calls you something that has a bauble at the end and it calls you to be your pendulum, you can use that. It has to be something that you feel. I'm gonna just shut this off so we can just have that on, hopefully. And let me also lower the okay, so that's off. So it's really up to you. It's a personal thing. And I believe pendulums have been around for an extremely long time. That I don't have the age on. However, it's a divination tool. It works with your heart, soul, and the field around you because all you are is energy. It is enhanced by your own clarity and sincerity and will give you an answer. And for me, I was using the pendulum last time when I got shut down. But I wanted to do some, I want to just ask some questions. I'm going to see if I can word it in such a way that I don't have to, well, whatever, to get caught again. And I was looking at events abroad, and writing it down. Can you read that? See that word? Maybe I'll write that there. Oh, I'm going to have a space. Can you see this word? Kind of get the idea. You know, when buildings kind of move and fall down, like, and people can get hurt. And it's usually considered a natural disaster, an ATO, and how, interestingly enough, when particular countries did not comply with NATO, all of a sudden, in a short span, and we made like under 2 weeks, under 3 days, 2 weeks, there was all of a sudden a natural disaster because they were a country that might be resisting NATO, if you know who that is, NATO. But I was talking about the country that looks like this bird at Thanksgiving time. They also have these types of farms. It's not a hen or a goose, not a swan. Gobble, gobble. So I did something, and I'm going to just say, and I'm going to think a lot in my mind, but is the boom in the country that looks like this a complete natural disaster? Is that boom boom that happened in the place that looks like a turkey, sounds like turkey, all a natural? It's a natural disaster. That's yes. Okay. Yes, this. Is that event in the country that's gobble gobble? Was it made to look like a natural catastrophe? Whoops, that just slipped from me. So was that event where the ground shook and buildings fell, was that made to look like a natural event or disaster? Okay. Let me ask another question around that. Was the event that went boom and houses fell, apartment buildings fell, that event that looked natural, was it meant to clear up some underground bad places? Were bad guys in charge of this, or were some bad people in charge, bad players in charge of this event, or was it orchestrated by, no, not orchestrated. So this boom event that happened in wherever, that was more orchestrated by good people? Okay. And let's just say, do you know this word, guys? There was a movie called Psycho, but sometimes people who are really crazy are referred to this, and the word Satan. So is it possible, Pendulum, that many things that are happening on the planet that look awful are happening because it's to wake people up? And these things, some explosions, for example, the explosion that happened in USA, was that more of the bad side? Was that thing that happened um, in the place in USA by more good forces? And is it possible when that particular different the different things around that explosion in USA, and I'm talking about the one, I don't know if I can do this like in a nice way, so let me see if I can. Well, that's not really look like it. That doesn't look like a, let's do it this way. 1 second. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about, right? Or if I do it this way, you can see the word, I'll write it. I know when I write it, it's not. See if you can see it. Okay, that event in USA, do you think it happened to mostly wake people up and expose bad players? The event in USA that involved this. Here we go. That involved this. Was it mostly to help people see truth? That's a yes. Okay. Did some animals really die? So it looks like some did. No and yes. Was the let me just I know it goes slower when you can't say the words. Got that word? Does that make sense to you? Let's try it a different way. Does that make sense? Oh, edit. That word, right? With the, stuff. Was that, can I say that? Was some of that fake? That word that begins with C, was some of that all fake? Okay. I'm going to stop there for a minute. If you've been a movie buff, like that as you love movies, you can name the actors, you can name a date when they released the film, the synopsis, it's just synopsis. Like if you go see a movie and read about it, it just is like a paragraph. So and so was on a mission, but interrupted by so and so who plays double agent, unbeknownst to the first person, and also unbeknownst that there is someone following the first person who doesn't even know what they're getting into. But anyway, they have a synopsis. So basically, I'm just going to say that, and this is where I might get shut down. So it's a 3-letter place, for example. Let me do this. Some of you know what this is? Okay. Just let me tell you that sometime in the, I'm going to think it's 70s, 80s, could be 70s, early 80s. I'm just trying to think when I didn't live, when I was on my own, and because I mostly saw this thing. I think was I living, I can't remember where I was living. That it was like with family, or it depends how old I was. I can't quite. But there was this, wasn't the 60s, either late 70s and 80s. Sometimes there was, I believe, it looked like Rob Lowe. There was an actor that played a part, and it was an hour-long show. Much like your hour-long shows like CSI or something. Okay. And it was about an insurance man who was recruited by someone like this place. And they told him, you're going to die from your body. You're going to look totally different, and you're going to work for us, and your whole family will be taken care of forever, 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 forever. And the reason they wanted that guy was because he either had access to different files, he could work with the government, whatever. So now I'm talking about a scripted show on American television, and this is the scenario of that he was recruited by a 3-letter agency, alphabet agency, and but he had to leave his body. They could make him leave his body, put his brain, put it whatever he is, and wreck him, and they would have a dead body that looked like him, so he could have a funeral. But he was going to be put into another body and look totally different. Okay. That being said, try to just hold off on judgment. that speaks to, for example, one thing it speaks to is, if you can see that word, what that is, it's backwards, but that word, you know what I'm talking about? That word. And it speaks to kind of a certain type of manipulation. And so that's already going on. But they were showing you through a story or what they could do, and that this place has at least 600 poisons where you could look like you're dead but not be dead and be buried alive. For example, cyanide poison, and I want to say, was that between the 50s and the 70s? That was like a lot of these secret agent movies. They killed people with cyanide poison, they whatever. And cyanide poison just looked like you had like a heart attack. You just stopped breathing. But if they found your body under 4 hours, I believe within a couple of hours, you did smell like that particular poison. Otherwise, it was not traceable. And I'm mentioning all of this because we've had some events go on that regular TV would like you to be very afraid, to be paranoid, to blame, to forget who you are, forget your power. They would like you to be in panic. I love those words, panic and paranoia. And so there's woo-woos and psychic people out there who are basically saying, not only have faith, but stay open to your super intelligence, to your, I say, supernaturalness, and kind of connect dots. And so one way you can bring some ease to yourself is by using a pendulum and asking questions and trying to get clear of the questions. And also in this place, let's see. Is that moved out to it? Ta-da! This big land of the free, right? Make America great. There are some Leaders, that word, who may be that when they remake or make people from petri dishes, from DNA, and just that word I just screwed up. One moment, G. Okay, and then this word maybe. Okay, so that place, and just for fun, I'm going to mention, YouTube, for fun, this place called Guantanamo Bay, there's Antarctica, blah, blah, blah. But some people see that word? Leaders. They may be there, or the other, or whatever. And I had done pendulum on that. I also, there used to be, if we could find old encyclopedias in a library somewhere that have not been scrapped, there may be, and I just don't really recall what it's under actually, but the exhibition of Antarctica with Admiral Byrd, a high wall of ice, and referring to the earth with a dome and 4 pillars. Also, I want to just read something else. I'm running out of paper. Let's see if I can find a little bit of paper. Okay, so this word here, MOON, so many places say that it didn't happen. So for all these current events now or past that seem to bother you, you could do your cards on, but you also do a pendulum. This is a little bit different than when I had my other show, but it gives you an idea that pendulums do work. They work with you. They work with your auric field, your subauric field, your hypoauric field. They work with your energy. And also crystals are alive. The other thing that I want to talk about is automatic writing. When I was in high school, there was a girl, and couldn't figure out if I thought she was just weird and lonely, and figuring out a way. And she was kind of into witchy things and automatic writing. And I admit that that was intriguing to me, but I don't think I had a patience or big interest or semi-interest to do it. And I used a pencil in case I made a mistake. But automatic writing was, she said, take a pencil. So I took a pencil and you ask questions and writing would come through. And I remember for a long time that when I did do it, just squiggles would come through. Coming through, that is, you have a pen or pencil to a paper, and it's like drawing and loose lines are happening. Well, let me continue in a second. You ask questions and you get answers. Now, here's the thing about especially automatic writing that I found. And even pendulum, and even any of this esoteric occult work, which, by the way, even Christianity has occult practices. Now, hold your horses. Yes, you enter a church, a lot of churches, whether they're brand new, but especially if they're much older and around the world. And you've got Gothic images. You've got a guy in a cross. You've got people etched in granite or stone that are bits of enactment, usually of the passage of the crucifixion. You have certain days and the masses that they burn incense, like frankincense and myrrh. And they got this, I don't know what you call it, but there's a word for this thing that they swing, and a priest is in his robes. And usually people that partake of the masses who lead it are in robes. Even all the boys, everybody's in a robe, or they're dressed up a particular way, and they're at the altar. They're literally usually at an altar, or there's an altar there on the stage for different reasons. But there's an altar. There are symbolic entities and tools and things said in Latin, which most people trust is being said in Latin. So that's rather occult-ish, and that's Christianity, and then so all these religions. So my point being, with automatic writing, just as pendulum, just as your card work, you are in a state of more sincerity. You are using your protection, whether it's energy you've harnessed and you have some light code languaging, whether it's a particular prayer or mantra that truly resonates, where the angels and iconic masters, the Holy of Holies, are around you. You have maybe a black tourmaline or noble shungite. You have your azeztolites. You have rose quartz. This is one of my favorite black tourmaline with mica. It's just a really cool piece. And you sincerely are calling upon, your highest self and the highest angels and helpers to guard, guide, and protect you, and bring you fun and true answers, and answers that you can, relate with in a way and digest in a way that bring about true epiphany, true truth for you, and that you can also not only receive, but pass forward to others, and they will assimilate and have their epiphany in a style which will resonate with them, but it will still be the truth. They'll just feel it in such a way that they will be able to take in, instead of balking because it's your style of how you're presenting something exactly. Because some people will, they may be disturbed by, not that you have to be disturbed by them, but they may be disturbed that they don't understand pendulums and automatic writing and cards, and they will see that as a non-holy thing to do, but usually it's people that are often very, they're narrow, as good as they might be, but they're narrow in their point of view, because they just want to say that their religion and the way that they look at the God of the universe is their way. And if you don't do it, there's something wrong with you. That's okay. We're all unfolding into a huge truth. So then we go into automatic writing. One person whose book, and there's probably a lot of people I really should review their books, but I do like this gentleman named Michael Sandler, who did write a book on automatic writing, and he would not have been the first because automatic writing was not developed by him. He was just expressing to you how it works. And so sometimes I will write the word yes and opposite the word no. And I will just ask for protection. I will just be in a place of, okay, and really need a clear answer from Archangel Michael, or I need a really clear answer from, name who is someone that your invisible helper that you're working with and that you trust. And I might say, okay, Archangel Michael, are you with me? It's a big S, yes. Okay, Archangel Michael, what happened is, for now, and explain to you, I just wrote down a yes and a no. And my pen, which was between the word yes and no, when I said is Archangel Michael here, and easily went to yes and circled it. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to write another yes and another no. Okay. Now, do I like dachshunds? Yes, I do like dachshunds. They're one of the dogs I think are so cute. And will I be getting a dachshund next couple? As I say, will I be getting a dachshund in the next couple of weeks? No. Where is it? No, got circled. But sometimes you will also like to just ask a question, and you'll be saying, tell me about the place in Europe that sounds like the gobble gobble animal. So that country that begins with T that sounds like that animal. And tell me about what's really going on with those disasters. So what they wrote so far, we see them as having purpose and revealing so much evil. Um, it's not to frighten you. Most are not lost, but we do see some stayed despite evacuation. So there was some notice that they had about this in some way. So I'm going to leave that aside because I really just want to visit with this lightly, and I don't want to get shut down. I'm going to be calling. I don't know if I'm going to shift this name, Sirian Star Oracle, to Pathsof Wonder. I know on TikTok I will do that. I know, and I have, and I know that I will be having a business card that will be Pathsof Wonder, and we'll very briefly on the front have some verbiage, a nice picture, and then forward a tree of life image that will like pop out, because I want it to be really relatable. And I think, and I'm not sure, but I've just shifted anyway from my Sirian Star Emissary card. It did have a lot of words on it, and it was a lot of what I liked. And it did have spaces on it, and I think the background of the face was still a little bit too dark, even though it had lightened up quite a bit. anyway, I just am shifting. So, and when you shift as a person, your artwork and your creations change, and sometimes your names change. But in this case, Paths of Wonder, I think do it for me instead of the Sirian Star Emissary, because it sounds like just galactic, and I'm really encompassing so much. So when I have Paths of Wonder, there will be a little bit kind of um, tweaked and pointed to what I do, but the backside of the card might actually have the list and a sentence of that. Um, the point being that this card, when you first see it, it should be intriguing, just very limited in words. The picture, the vibration, especially the vibration, should catch you in Paths of Wonder. Because this Paths of Wonder that I'm going to be offering is the pendulum, is the charm reading, is the oracle reading, is the tarot reading, is the quantum energy session radiation for wellness, optimal wellness, is cleansing of houses and spaces of entities, is the removal of them from your body, from your outside space. It's the intuit psychic stuff that ever I get and or hear of and share, and it's a spiritual it's mentoring chats that are spiritual, and it's divination that is not it's meant to uplift you and support you. So there's that, plus it will be infused quantum energy for the art. So I want to say energy infused art for your optimum wellness and dreams come true. Yeah, so it'll be so much, but I wanted to shift that around. So I think that's good. We covered a little bit of the automatic writing. Again, Michael Sandler, he's one of the newer people I know that wrote a book, but certainly if you plug into Amazon books on automatic writing, you may get something else. You can also go on YouTube, and I'm sure you will find some sites that are just even audiobooks, probably on Audible, about that. And what else? Yeah, and those two things very, very easily. I would love to just speak more candidly and not have to watch my words, but I will. And I don't feel afraid. I just want to make sure that you gain something from this, and it lasts, a bit. I do want to pick a card though. I feel compelled, like just want to even end with a little bit of a card reading. And let's say that the card reading is really about what would cap, what would support, trusting yourself with your pendulum, because you don't always need to go to someone like me, because this is the age of Aquarius, and it's about embracing your special skills and abilities. So what would be something you need to hear tonight about embracing your special skills and abilities? Okay, put that card. I'm going to pick 3 cards. Does this card... And what will you tell us about embracing your special skills and abilities during this time and using a pendulum? Is there any card in here that will speak to us using a pendulum? Okay. Take my books and then with this is a wonderful deck I have not used yet at all. And then let the wise, and this is called Wild Woman Rising, and I want to cap what the 2 cards I got with this about using your pendulum, trusting yourself, doing your best to not be into the paranoia and the panic of whatever you see out there. This is really still a time of you to create with your words, your affirmation, to feel from your heart that which you want to exponentially bring in. And the pendulum and all these things, the crystals, these are meant for you, tools for you to springboard into what's next. And when you're feeling a little lost, in a temporary hiccup, stuck, funk, these are words that I don't want you to live with or stay with, but let's just say that you seem like you need a mentor, you seem like you need someone to bounce things off of. Because what happens is we're all a mirror for each other. And as you grow in confidence and certainty over the special skills and abilities that you are, you need less people to tell you what you need. And sometimes it's just a tweaking. Like, I've known that my new business card for these esoteric arts was going to be either Ways of Wonder or Paths of Wonder. And I fell asleep hearing one of those. I couldn't remember which one it was. And I did run it by a couple of people because it's I was going to pendulum them. And Ways of Wonder I like because it's the way. I like that kind of. But Paths of Wonder, you can actually really see that. See, someone could easily visualize a path, and the path is filled with wonder. There are many paths with wonder, so it's more than likely what I'm going to call that. So, okay, let's see. I picked two cards. Oh gosh, it's one I've had before. It's one I've had before, and I think this was the one where I was shut down. It was a card that I used for TikTok, and I'll have to look in my repertoire. Which, by the way, if you go to my channel, Sirian Star Oracle, I think you have to go under Live, and you will see a list of all the things I've done. So this is number 44, which is 8, which is the universe basically has your back, never-ending infinity symbol, a lot of prosperity coming. And this says, have hope for the future. New energies are coming in. All right, so when you have hope for the future, new energies are coming in. What this means is the planet is rising and ascending. Your DNA is changing. You have 22 strands of DNA. Most recently, in the past, just before the past 2, now 3 years, we've mostly known that we were dominantly just using a couple of strands of DNA. And interestingly, across the board, many scientists, quantum physicists, those who are into esoteric arts, especially even theologies, will say, and it is very likely, the hypothesis is that there are 22 master races and we were made by them. And in that, we are so connected to so many races of different beings out there that will not look like the usual human body and face. And some may be very similar, of course. But this is to embrace the truth of our heritage and where we come from and all the wonderful things that are unfolding. So, where did I put this? Embrace. So, new energies are coming in. And just to recap the 8 that number is, because 4 and 4 is 8. Abundance, prosperity, infinity symbol, infinite supplies what you need, the sign of success. Empower yourself. Let 8 boost your self-confidence. It's the energy flow of money, the flow of life, a continuum. Balance of all, infinite flow for all works in accord, seen or unseen. And so by itself, number 4 is a leap of faith because we have 2 4s, right? So 4 and 4 here is 8. 4, being in your power and truth, leap of faith. Get out of your comfort zone, create a sacred space. Honor this temple, honor this pillar that your soul is in that gives you breath through the nose, through the mouth. Because when the soul is gone from the body, if you are alive, you are then let me just put it this way, you are either a zombie or you are, where's the word? You're this. You're a controllable C word, LONE. So, number 4 can be the routine of your home. It is a number of order and stability. Honor the strength of your being the being in yourself. So there's that. And then we have a number 2, which is the earth. And in this, it's very interesting. While there's a lot of sort of muted browns and yellows, this is like basically representing lower chakra, you have a bit of this particular woman who is in white, the purity of earth, the purity of being in touch with the lower chakras, the grounding chakras. And there's a face too up here, as if she's relating to her higher powers. This artist is very interesting because she's reachable and I can ask her questions about all this background information. So the 2 of earth here, this good tarot, find it. Pleasurable work, adaptability, balance between work and play. My efforts bring me joy. Play and work are not separate because what I am doing is actually fun. And if conditions change, I can switch gears easily. I'm fully present in the excitement of creativity, and I'm eager to experience the surprises occur when seeds I have planted take root and sprout and develop in unexpected ways. And this time, this age of Aquarius, and yes, we hear on TV, and there could be gossip around, all these things that we've been coming out and been bombarded with. This is a great time on the planet to actually start feeling what is it we would do and where is it we move. And these are things that are happening to me, wanting to rekindle creativity, wanting to be out there in service of the world, wanting to do stuff that I love, to show up for you and for myself, to really be part of this planet's new ascension, rebirth, this new world that we are in. And it is just the beginning, just the seeds beginning to sprout, because that's what all the junk from the earth that's been tainted needs to come up. The exposures need to be seen, the way the systems are, so that people can band together and not as victims, but band together and say enough is enough. And no, you get out of this office, or you get out of making that law, or no, this is not going to be like that. And it's really not a contest. And it's no, you don't use pronouns, and you don't find a way to adjust to use acceptable pronouns. You speak who you are. You acknowledge others, but you don't acquiesce ever. You don't acquiesce ever to your boss or a job or a government or other people who they're finding their way through their own sexual orientation or an idea of themselves, but you don't have to comply with how they want you to talk to them. That's an insecurity problem. And quite frankly, in some cases, it's just downright a mental illness. So now together with the 8 and the 2 comes to 1, which is 1. Like, when you're the 1, you are healthy. You can exponentially then take care of others, your family, your pets. I mean, you are honoring you first. You get to be healthier. And if that's selfish, taking care of the self so that you thrive, that is knowing what's really appropriate, what you need, and being able to be brave enough to withstand the ridicule of taking care of yourself. So straight like an arrow, strong, assertive, individual self-discovery, know thyself, the power within, a great start to new beginnings, because 8 and 2 is 10, and 10 in tarot is usually a start over, a new beginning, but it comes down to the number 1 and letting go of, old energies. And if you've been holding on to old energies, try to start to see where you can allow yourself to say, that's an old me, and I'm really moving toward the new. Yeah, so that's really cool. And now, from this particular wonderful oracle, I'm going to pick a card as a capper to speak to us on capping this evening, pendulum, automatic writing, stuff that's going on in the world that would seem distracting, and we want to stay steadfast in our power. We want to just really be with who we are, be that wild, on purpose being. Okay, show us what is a really great theme to end this evening with. Just kind of, oh, almost everything fell on the floor almost. Let's see. There's some cards that want to, okay, so let's hit on this pile. Who wanted to come out and talk? I'm just looking for the one card to cat tonight. All right. Wow. So this is a number 41 or 5, and it's called Reclaim Your Soul Skin. Reclaim Your Soul Skin. And so my number 5, Earth, Air, Fire, Water, Spirit. Adventure, change, manifestation, which is what's happening right now in the world and with us. Appreciate the world around you, which brings positive change that you seek. The practice of gratitude, abundance, to feel and speak even before the evidence is seen. This shifts the energies so that the wellness, abundance, and good things then are seen into your immediate field, the field around you, that is, bring it into your reality. And you may go on a physical journey, or you may be on an inner journey, going within. Listen to your body. Be aware of your surroundings, of the elements. Again, earth, air, fire, water, spirit. Number 5, there are invisible helpers all around you. It is faith in action, intuition in motion. Now, these numbers come a little bit from what I researched, and later I just put it also in my own words. Sometimes I don't remember all the numbers all the time. There's so much to say to you, but I like to read it so exactly you're hearing the message of the card. And we're going to go after the number 41 and just see what that's about for us to get for a capped message this evening. Oops. Okay. This is in one of my other oracle cards, the Legend of the Selkie, a woman seal often seen off the coast of Northern Ireland, who can shed her skin by moonlight and dance upon the earth. Fishermen were known to catch the seal-made skin in order to keep her pinned to the land, captured as bride, unable to return to her true skin and soul home. In the legend you're living, to reclaim your soul skin is to let go of the good girl pelt you were raised to wear. Toss off all that is no longer fits you, and dive deep into places where your soul feels most at home. The woman you are becoming will cost you relationships, spaces, comfort, security, and convenience. But choose her over everything. When we reclaim our authenticity, wild woman rises. Now, if you are a gentleman, a boy, a man listening to this, what happens is, like the Selkie, you can embrace the Divine Mother Earth, the Divine Goddess, and have reverence to that which is holy, revered, earnest, nurturing, to that which is holy, revered, earnest, nurturing, and filled with such wrath that she is Goddess, great Creator Mother. And in it, you also you are a child of the universe. You are a child of the earth. So therefore you are a child of the wild woman rising. And, you get to feel your empowerment through that. Reclaim your soul skin. And this is beautiful chakra colors of the heart, fluidity of being in water. And water is, it's a solid, it's a liquid, it's a gas. It's water as a rush of flow designs the Grand Canyon. Water is the giver of life. Our bodies are mostly water, and important for us to have drinks and foods that have lots of hydration and water in them. And then you get to see this. It's very interesting as we study other places around the world, how much mythology and legend become true and become part of our history. So don't let current events get you down. Fall forward into your supernatural abilities to create and to be supported by this channel. My little coyote heart loves you. You are powered by the stars and you are a spark of creation. Let's activate the power within. And thank you for joining me.